Hey guys, Meteorologist Chris Tomer here with this Thursday mountain weather update. My first stop is going to be Big Sky, Montana, where a lot happened yesterday. You can see the tram stop. They're on a wind hold today. Yesterday, I got a couple of reports. Just incredible temperature swings up there. Once the front hit, the temperature dropped like 40, 50 degrees. Let me show you some of the observations up there. And of course, they had that avalanche. It was ski patrol triggered. Um, and I got a picture of that coming up. But look at some of these obs. So as far back as I can go, this was yesterday, and the temperatures started out mild during the day, and then they just fell rapidly. Now we're below zero. So look at some of the wind gusts yesterday. 88 miles an hour up there, 85 miles per hour. So that front came in, and you can see how the winds were rotating out of the south to the northwest, the west, and then eventually the northwest. So pretty crazy day up there. I'll take you over to my Twitter account here, and I want to show you. So this was a picture that was sent to me. Look at the size of the crown from that patrol triggered inbounds avalanche at Big Sky. I mean, that's just absolutely massive. And as this front was kind of sweeping through the west, down at Alta, they actually had to shut down the lifts at about 1 p.m. because of lightning that was moving through the Wasatch front. So, I mean, a crazy day, a very strong cold front that we talked about that storm moving in, and it definitely meant business. There was a lot of warm air out of which helped to kind of fuel this action. So, pretty amazing stuff. Okay, here's what I am seeing out there this morning as far as radar goes. And there you go. There's the third storm system, and it's the final one of this batch. It's moving on shore now into parts of California. There's a little bit of action up into the Pacific Northwest. Now, this storm promises to be the coldest of the storm systems that we've seen so far over the last week. This one will come in and looks to deliver better accumulation to more areas. And it will also move through the Wasatch. It'll move through Colorado. It'll move through the Tetons. So a lot to look forward to there. Now up in the Northeast, it's a real nasty morning with a lot of ice up there in that pink purple shading. There's even some sleet in orange, some thunderstorms. And it's all snow on the northern side up there through parts of upstate New York. It's going to be a snowy morning through a lot of Connecticut, Boston, and eventually the snow. Light to moderate accumulations will be sweeping through Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. All right, here's the setup on water vapor. So your oranges and reds are going to be your drier air at the lower levels, and there's a lot of dry air across the west. Look at all of this dry air from Colorado to Utah, all the way down through the Four Corners, Southern California. But on the northern periphery, here's a storm system you could see coming in on radar. So that's going to move in, and eventually it's going to move through, and it'll break down this little ridge of high pressure over the southwest, and that's the one that will snow on a lot of different places. Um, okay, so we'll cover all that in the forecast. Here's my snow timeline, best odds of snow. So for Big Sky, it's tomorrow as the storm makes its way in. Moderate to heavy accumulations. In the Wasatch, we're looking at heavy on 2-7 and then heavy again. If you're looking even further down the road, about a week's time, we've got another storm system coming in, 213, 214 with heavy accumulations. Tetons heavy on 2-7, so 2-7 seems to be pretty common up there through Wyoming and northern Utah and Montana. Colorado, 2-8s light to moderate, 2-9s light, and then that new pattern, 211 through 215, looks heavy. Interior BC is light, Pacific Northwest is light. Tahoe, between this afternoon, tonight, and tomorrow morning, it could be heavy with that storm coming in. In the Northeast, there's your snow today, and then another one on 2-8, 2-9. I mean, the pattern's pretty loaded. The signal's pretty strong for snow in the Northeast, all the way through the 213 time frame. All right, let's drill down to Alta, Utah. This is the forecast mediagram. It's about 9,000 feet. So you've got today calm. Winds will build in the afternoon and high temps at about 33. So kind of mild up there today. Then the storm system rolls in, and you can see the winds starting to build, and they're going to blow all the way up to potentially 50 miles, 50, 55 mile an hour gusts on Friday, February 7th in the afternoon. Now, this model only cranks out a few inches of snow. I think that's awfully light. I'm forecasting like 6 to 10 inches across the Wasatch. But very windy, and then the temperatures just plummet. Look at the temperatures fall off a cliff. So at 31, at roughly 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then it just falls into the single digits. Saturday's cold behind the storm, but I'm sure it's going to be fantastic with new powder. It'll be a powder day. Cold and blue skies, most likely coming out. Okay, so that's Alta. Let me take you up to Wyoming. We've been doing this forecast the last couple of days. This is that Ginny Lake corridor up there, and it's at about 8,600 feet. And so this will run you from Jackson Hole ski area all the way up to the north side of the Grand Teton, 8,600 feet. So not a lot going on today. Winds about 30-mile-an-hour gusts. High temps about 20 degrees. Now tomorrow, different story. Here comes our storm system. The winds really ramp up, just like in the Wasatch. Gusts though in the Tetons could go to 60, 65 miles per hour. This cranks out about 10 inches of snow, and that's right where I'm forecasting for Grand Targhee and also Jackson Hole. And then the winds settle behind that. Saturday will be a great day. It's going to be much, much colder with below zero temps on Saturday. Okay, let me run over to the jet stream. I want to show you how everything plays out. We'll look at the long-term forecast as well. So on this, I'm looking for the brighter colors. I'm looking for the reds, the oranges, the tans, because these are winds at about 30,000 feet up at the jet stream level, the steering winds for storms, and everything's just being blown directly west to east right now. This is really looking like a loaded pattern. So in other words, whatever hits in the west hits in the east. Lots of stuff coming in from the west, lots of stuff hits on the east, and that's exactly what I see over the next 7 to 10 days. We've got a lot of snow for the east and a pretty good amount for parts of the west as well. Okay, so as we move ahead in time, there's late today. Here comes our storm system. This is late on Friday, February 7th. You can see the dip in the jet to the north. Here it comes. Moves through the interior into early Saturday. Here's late Saturday. And then it moves on through and it becomes an East Coast problem. Well, East Coast system. And then the pattern remains pretty active. You can see another storm system on the jet. This is late on Sunday, February 9th, sliding into the west coast. That moves to the interior. Here's late on the 10th. Another storm system. There's late on the 11th. That moves through the interior with snow and wind. Colder temps for sure. There's early on Thursday, February 13th. That becomes an East Coast or Midwest storm system. All right, here's Valentine's Day. There's Friday, February 14th. Another storm from 14 into 15 coming into the West Coast, Pacific Northwest. So the pattern remains very active through the middle of February, guys. Looking pretty good here. Okay, here's the forecast snow accumulation over time. So we'll start this at early this morning, and again, the light blues are going to be under 3 inches. The greens are 3 to 6. If you see yellows, it's 6+. Reds are 10+. So first, I want to point out the storm system going up to the East Coast, Northeast. So you've got freezing rain, sleet, and also snow accumulation. Up in the Pacific Northwest, there comes the leading edge of our next storm system. Okay, so here we are, 11 o'clock today. Here's late today. There goes a storm up through the Northeast. Look to the west. Sierra starts to get hit. This afternoon, tonight, tomorrow, heavy accumulation. And this one's colder. Better accumulation through a lot of the Sierra. Okay, early Friday. Now that storm starts to spread an arc of snow all the way through Idaho, into the Tetons, into Montana, and a little bit starting to break out over the mountains of northern Utah. All right, here we are on late Friday, the 7th. Snow picks up in the Wasatch. Snow starts to drop down into the central to northern mountains of Colorado. Snow in Wyoming, Montana, Idaho. Here's early Saturday, February 8th. Snowing through the central to northern mountains of Colorado. Leftover snow in Utah. Then that storm moves away, and you know what? It becomes a storm for the Midwest and the Northeast again, with snow accumulation, ice, sleet, all of that nasty stuff. And it moves up into the Northeast. There's early Sunday, February 9th. Now, a lot of that's going to be snow accumulation through parts of upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, and even Massachusetts. Snow accumulation up there. Now, back to the west, a cold front drops down through Wyoming and into Colorado. You can see that, and then that moves out into the plains. Now, there's late on Sunday, February 9th. Okay, here's early the 10th. Another storm, another cold front dropping down through Wyoming into Colorado with some snow accumulation. Here's early Tuesday, February 11th. Then that storm becomes another storm system for the Midwest, the Mid-Atlantic, the East Coast, the Northeast. And another front drops down through Colorado here. This is early on February 12th. So there's a lot of action here. I mean, the pattern is loaded. Here's my forecast. So all of today through the 9th, we'll start in the Wasatch, 6 to 10 inches of accumulation. And the winds will build across all these places into the 7th. Up in the Tetons, about 10 inches. Montana, 6 to 7, Red Lodge, Bridger Bowl, Big Sky, less in northwest Montana. 8's there through Brundage, Bogus Basin, Sun Valley. Pacific Northwest is pretty light. Oregon's heavier, closer to the next storm system. And I've got about a maybe 15 inches there through Shasta, Heavenly, Kirkwood, Mount Rose, down towards Mammoth with the 2.7, late 2.6, 2.7 storm system. In Colorado, most of the accumulations in the central to northern mountains, and it's not all that much. Um, these are kind of glancing blows. We'll see if there's something bigger down the road. At least that's what I'm forecasting. In my timeline for Colorado, 211 through 215 looks a lot more promising to me, but that's still a long way off. But you can see the numbers there, and I've got nothing. I've got zeroed out for southern Colorado, northern New Mexico. All right, so up in the northeast, pretty good stuff here. This just runs through the 9th. Beyond this, there's heavy additional accumulation, but 6 to 8 inches through Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, up to 10 there in Massachusetts, and 6 to 9 there through a lot of New York State. So out to the west, we'll end here. And this, again, just runs through the 9th with additional storm systems and a favorable flow pattern, as I showed you, with the jet and the snow forecast all the way out through the middle part of February. Guys, thanks for tuning in here. Always appreciate it. Take care and have a great day.